What's up, everybody? It's Big Bryan, SLCAudio, and we're here at the beautiful Broadview Studios today, Broadview University, and we're going to get you guys some snare samples. Check it out. What we're going to do today is we're going to go through two different snare drums, a low-end snare drum and a high-end snare drum. We're going to treat them a bunch of different ways, and we're going to get samples so that if we were in a mix later on, we could put these samples in and get really good samples to use with the recording that we had. So what we're going to do is we're going to send Jared into the studio, and he's going to start off on a Orange County Percussion black chrome drum, about $150 drum, and we're going to then treat it with a couple different things, and those samples will be available to you. We'll put a link up on this so that you guys can find those. All right, Jared, let's get you go. So we have an OCP black chrome snare drum with the SM57 running through an API 512C preamp into Pro Tools. So, Jared, go ahead and give that a nice solid hit. You can hear that the overtones in that kind of carry out. It's got a little bit of a pang. Might be a little bit annoying in a mix. Let's go ahead and have Jared put on the Snare Weight, which is the standard insert on it. We're using a chrome Snare Weight. It's just going to magnetize right onto the snare drum, and let's have you hit that a couple times. So you can hear right away that that's taken a lot of the ring out of the snare drum itself. We're going to change the insert inside the Snare Weight right now. We're going to go with the 70s insert. Now, if you notice that the 70s insert looks like wings sticking out of the side of the Snare Weight, and it's going to change up the overtone characters of the Snare Weight itself. So as soon as Jared's got that ready, he'll snap it on, and we'll hit that a couple times. All right, so that's totally dried up that snare drum a whole bunch. Let's go and switch out from the 1970s insert over to the 1940s inserts. The 1940s inserts are a little bit thinner, so they're going to muffle out the drum just a little bit less. As soon as Jared's got that, we'll let him go ahead and hit the snare a couple times. Perfect. Let's go ahead and take the snare weights off, and we're going to change to the M1 snare weight. And the M1 snare weight is simply a small leather strip that clips on via compression clip onto the side of the snare. And we're going to start off with the tabs open. All right, so we have the M1 snare weight on there now, and both flaps are open. Jared, we show that really quick that you can flip that up and get it out of the way if you don't want to use it. Go ahead and drop that back down, and we're going to go ahead and hear what the snare drum sounds with the M1 on. If you want to change up how that's dampening, you can flip one flap over. It's got a little magnet right in the middle, and that flap's going to make it really quick and easy to change your tone up. Go ahead. Once you have a sound that you like, you can pick different things, but there's one more that you can do. You can flap both of the flaps over, and it will mute up the snare drum even more. Go ahead and give that a couple hits. It changes the muting completely. So this one's giving a little bit more of the natural ring to the snare drum. We're gonna switch out the snare drums now. We're gonna use a Black Beauty hammered chrome snare drum. Okay, so we switched out the snare drum now. We've got that Black Beauty on there, and he's gonna just go ahead and hit that. Again, this is through a SM57 into an API 512C into Pro Tools. You can hear that has some really deep quality to that snare, except for it rings a lot. And I'm not necessarily a fan of that ring. So let's just put the standard snare weight on there and let's give it a hit. All right, once again, we're going to switch from the standard snare weight into the 70s snare weight, or the 70s inserts for the snare weight, and let's hear how that sounds. That's how I like a snare to sound. Go ahead and hit it a couple more times. Give it a roll. All right. Now he's going to jump over to the 1940s inserts. Let's hear how that sounds. Also, again, that sounds really good. It's really crisp and really tight. We're going to go from the 40s insert and we're going to switch to the M1 snare weight again with both flaps open. You'll notice with the M1, it's let some of the natural ring back into the drum, so we're getting some of the original ring back. Now we're going to flip one flap closed and give it a hit. Now we're going to have Jared really quickly flip the other flap over and give us both flaps into the middle. Go ahead and give it a roll. Thank you. You guys, check out that snare weight. It gave so many options for such a little bit of a cost. That M1 is not expensive at all. And with all the snare weight options that you can get, you don't have to go out and buy a whole bunch of snares to get a bunch of different snare sounds. This is Big Bryan. We're here at Broadview University. Want to say thanks to Broadview University, NACPAC Films. I'm Big Bryan from SLCAudio, and we'll see you guys next time.